I quit my stable job as CG Generalist in 2022 to make mobile games alone. 18 months later, I was finally making enough to support my living. But the reality of working solo, well, it's tough. So today I want to talk about something I've been doing for years now, making mobile games solo. I started learning Unity and coding back in 2017, and honestly, I dropped it after a while. Then in 2019, I came back to finish the game I had started, and it's called Ailment. And if you want to check it out, I'll leave the link in the description. And by the way, it was selected as one of the best indie games in 2019 on Google Play. And that was the first game I made alone. And that's when things got more serious, more professional, you could say. Before that, I had some experience in 2015 working on games with my friend, but my role was purely artistic back then. I wasn't coding or anything like that. From 2019 to 2022, I was working on games in my spare time, after work, on weekends, mornings, whenever I could squeeze it in. Game dev was still a side thing, a passion project, something I did because I loved it, not because it paid bills. Well, it paid some bills though. I remember days when my second title was bringing in 5 grand a month for a half a year, and I made that game within 3.5 months. But in 2022, I made a big decision. I switched from doing game dev as a hobby to making it my actual job, my full-time career. Was it an easy decision? Not really. It's scary leaving stability behind and betting everything on yourself. But I had some savings to live off, so I've decided to give it a try. Was it easy to make money like that? No, definitely not. I actually totally wasted more than 40 grand making a game that totally flopped, earning a little more than 3 grand so far, and it's within 3 years. But here's what happened. About a year and a half after I started doing it professionally, I began making money that could actually support me and my family with game dev. That was a huge milestone for me. Now I don't make millions or anything like that, but I make just enough to live off of it. Is it better than having a normal job in game dev? Well, it's different. It's less stable for sure, you don't have guaranteed salary every month, but there's a higher chance of big prize. You know, that one game that might actually take off? So I kinda compare it to lottery in a way. Is it stressful? Yeah, sometimes absolutely. There are months when the income drops a bit and you feel stressed out, wondering if you made the right decision and thinking about looking for an office job. And honestly, I do think about that quite often. But then there are other months when it recoups and everything feels okay again. So it's a roller coaster ride, up and down. I worked completely solo for some time. Then, as I started working with publishers in 2023 and in 2024, I met some cool guys and we formed a team together. All of us still have our own solo projects that we work on, even though we collaborate on team projects most of our time. What does it actually feel like to work alone on a game? What are the pros and cons? What tools do I use to get everything done? How do I choose which game to work on? Do I burn out? Let's break it down. First, the good stuff, the pros. You get complete freedom, and I mean complete. You decide which game to make. You create the game mechanics, the level design, art, exactly as you want it to be. No endless meetings where everyone has an opinion and nothing gets decided. Or you have to prove you're right, or just to stop resisting and to accept someone else's idea. You work whenever you want. Feeling productive at 2 a.m.? Great, go for it. Want to make Tuesday off because you're just not feeling it? Go for it. There is nobody telling you when to work or how many hours you need to put in and when the deadline is. You make all decisions yourself. Every single one. Want to pivot the entire game direction? You can do it tomorrow if you want. No need to convince a team to get approval from anyone. And obviously you earn all of the money. No splitting revenues with partners or team. It's all yours. You also decide if and when to abandon the game. Sometimes you need to know when to move on, when a project just isn't working out. And when you're solo, that decision is entirely yours. You don't have to worry about letting anyone down or dealing with the team drama. But let's be real, there are downsides too. Some pretty significant ones. You work alone. And that sounds obvious, but it hits different when you're actually doing it day after day. Sometimes you desperately need advice. Sometimes you get stuck on a logic or art style, or you run out of ideas completely. And there is no one right there to bounce ideas off of, no one to help you think through problems. It's less fun. Sometimes working alone can feel isolated. Games are supposed to be fun, but making them alone, that can feel like a grind sometimes. And when you do earn money, you can't share that joy with a teammate. If your game gets some success and you're just the happiest person in the world, you're also alone in that. There's no one to celebrate with, no one who really understands what you just achieved. How do I find ideas for my games? Honestly, I just play games and watch people playing games, mostly random mobile games that Google Play recommends. I download them, play through them, see what works, what doesn't, what feels good, what's frustrating, and then I let it brew in my head until something more specific forms. It's like letting ideas simmer, you know? Sometimes I create an environment first and then I think about what kind of mechanic would work well in this environment. Like, I'll build a cool space and then I ask myself, what would be fun to do here? And is it a lot of work to work solo? Yeah, because you have to do everything. There is no one else to pick up the slack. By the way, this is why I like working in a team. Do I burn out? Yeah. Sometimes I get overwhelmed and yeah, I burn out, I really do. I guess it happens to many of us who work like this. There are also times when I feel incredibly motivated and I genuinely enjoy what I'm doing. Like, I wake up excited to work, excited to see what I can create today. And sometimes I just work. Not good, not bad, just work. You clock in, you do the tasks, you clock out, and that's okay too. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.